All right, Bellator 260 in the books. Let's bring in Luke Thomas, co-host of the Morning Combat Podcast, CBS combat sports analyst. And Bellator 260, the welterweight title, had Douglas Lima, Luke, back at 170 against the unbeaten Yaroslav Amosov. And three words for you: ground and pound. That seemed to be the theme throughout. A unanimous decision for Amosov. He's now 26-0. Your impressions?
My impressions were, told you so, right? It was right here on CBS Sports HQ that myself and Rashad Evans told you that this was basically going to happen. But there were some surprises, I have to tell you. Number one, I knew Amosov had a good, you can see it, body lock takedowns from a single leg setup, but that it would be so dominant to the point where I think Douglas Lima only stuffed a couple of them over the course of 25 minutes was surprising. I did not realize there would be that kind of differential. We'd seen Lima in the past struggle with some of the more wrestling-heavy fighters, but it had been a long time since that happened. You thought it would have closed the door on that deficiency. Amosov pried it wide open. I'll also say he had good cardio for 25 minutes. He'd never done that before, but I will say if you just look at the online reaction from fans, they're not very pleased. There wasn't a ton of guard passing. There wasn't a ton of offense even when it got to the ground. So while dominant in certain respects, it was lackluster in others, at least according to a pretty sizable portion of the online fan base.
Yeah, 74 strikes, 63 punches landed. The stats favored Amosov. Moving forward, what does this mean for him?
Well, I mean, this is what's so interesting about it. Okay, was the fight the most exciting fight I'd ever seen? No. I mean, could Douglas Lima have done more with his guard? Yes, he was curiously not even trying that hard in this fight. I don't even know what that's about. But you're asking about Amosov. Here's the reality. You're undefeated. You're the champion in one of the toughest weight classes anywhere in the world, right? This is sort of the sweet spot of the racket when you're looking about where the talent exists in mixed martial arts globally. And you're 27 years old already reaching this position. I mean, the future is so bright. Now, I don't know if he's going to hold on to that title even in his next contest, whoever that may be. It's not like he's this completely dominant figure you just couldn't imagine losing. But to be this far ahead at this age where you can still get much better than you already are and you've achieved a championship status, folks, I got to tell you, that is extremely impressive and very unusual for someone to go to this level with having suffered no defeats in mixed martial arts. This ain't boxing. Like, you don't get padded fights on the way, and he still got it. Impressive.
Yeah, 8 of 9 could pave the way for a shot at the belt. Biggest takeaway, Luke, from Bellator 260 for you?
I know, it's so funny. Listen, the main event tonight, not the world's most exciting fight, but you just look around. The fight that Amosov had to win to get to this spot was defeating the great wrestler out of the University of Minnesota, Logan Storley, and they pushed each other back and forth. Amosov only won that by split decision. You look around the rest of that division, there's a lot of young up-and-comers from there. I mean, I don't want to overstate things. They might do a rematch with Lima. Who the hell knows? But tonight, I feel like Amosov, 27 years old, coming off of the win he had before this fight with Storley, he might be ushering this new exciting era at 170 pounds at Bellator. There's usually a lot of figures that are sort of more esteemed and have seniority in there. Douglas Lima was the guy maybe representing something of a different era. Felt like a little bit of torch passing to me, especially with the youth behind him in Amosov. So I'm really kind of excited, maybe not so much for what happened tonight in terms of, like, the best fight ever, but what lies ahead. Youth, talent, excitement, good matchups, rivalries. This is a good time to be an observer of the welterweight division in Bellator.
Yeah, great point. Kind of felt wanting that Lima didn't put it all out there on this night. Like you said earlier, he's Luke Thomas, a CBS combat sports analyst. Luke, we appreciate the insight. All right, Luke and Brian Campbell, co-host of the Morning Combat Podcast. You have to check this out. Be sure to download and subscribe. You can catch the show live on YouTube Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays at 11 a.m. on YouTube. Morning Combat. Download and subscribe today. Good point, Luke. Jason Jackson in the co-main, unanimous decision over Paul Daly. He's now won 8 of his last 9. What were your thoughts after this matchup?
Yeah, he looked, for the most part, pretty good, I thought, right? I mean, again, wasn't the most scintillating fight. It wasn't the most exciting fight, but Jason Jackson, I think, actually doing pretty good on the feet, at least in terms of landing the occasional shot, if not so much to really rattle Paul Daly, at least to get him off of his game and score some points. But then you could see what the big difference was the wrestling. Jason Jackson having a much more complete mixed martial arts performance, and that in the end was the difference. Now, he might end up getting a title shot from this, which you could probably argue he's earned. You're pointing out 8 of his last 9. The last 4 or 5 of his fights, I mean, this is the best MMA of his entire career. Still, there might be another gear he needs to hit, which he might be able to, but there might be another gear he needs to hit to really contend in a serious way for a title. But this was the kind of performance on a big stage that will net you a really big fight. Might be a title shot, might be something else, but certainly one of significance going forward.
Yeah.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.